Hello, I'm going to show you some simple stretches that you can do either when you wake up or before you go to bed that'll just make you feel nice and loose. Well, let's just go ahead and get started. So the first one is very simple. We're just going to cross our legs and sit in what we call in yoga Sukhasana or easy pose. So you just cross your legs. You can have a gentle grip on your knees, roll the shoulders back, and sit nice and tall. Your heart should be open, your neck should be open, and you can gaze in front of you or look slightly up. If this is hard for you to sit with your legs firm against the ground, what you can do is you can stick a pillow or blocks or bolsters or whatever you have available to you. You can just sit with those underneath your legs to make sure that you're getting the proper stretch and that you're sitting in the pose correctly. You don't want to sit with your knees up like this because then that takes the good posture away. You want to sit with your shoulders rolled back so that it in turn helps you straighten your spine, thus improving the posture. So once you find a comfortable way to achieve Sukhasana, we'll sit here and we'll breathe in this pose. In yoga, it's all about the breath. And if you can breathe nice, long, deep breaths in a pose, you can breathe even deeper into the pose, getting an even deeper stretch. So I want you to take like 5 deep breaths here once you get into the pose. You want to inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Now on an exhale, let's go ahead and bring our feet together. You might know this as a butterfly pose. In yoga, we call it bound angle or Baddha Konasana. And in this pose, you sit with your feet firm together, your back straight, shoulders rolled back, and you can either sit with your feet as close to your pelvis as you'd like. If that's not comfortable for you, then you can definitely bring your feet out in front of you a little bit more, widen the little diamond that your legs make. And then if this is still really uncomfortable or if you have knee problems, again, you can stick blocks, bolsters, pillows, whatever you have at your convenience underneath your knees, and that should make the pose that much easier. And then once you find yourself in the proper pose, again, make sure your shoulders are rolled back, your posture is good. Again, you want your heart and your neck to be open, and then your gaze should be just in front of you. If you're wanting to focus on clearing your mind while you do these stretches, then you can go ahead and close your eyes. That sometimes makes it a little bit easier for you to keep an open mind and focus on the breath. And again, we'll breathe here for about 5 breaths total. So we'll take one more breath. And then as we exhale, always want to move on an exhale. We'll go ahead and straighten out our feet. Now, if you have a hard time keeping your back straight, definitely sit up against a wall or a couch for this. And then this is Dandasana or staff pose, and I just have my feet sitting straight out in front of me. I like to flex my feet back so that I get a stretch in my calves here. Not everybody can get their legs as straight as I can, and you definitely don't want to make sure they're too straight because you don't want to hyperextend your knees. But if this is not comfortable for you, then I suggest sticking a pillow or a bolster underneath your legs, just under your knees right here, and that should make the pose a little bit more gentle for you. And then once we have a nice Dandasana, we will fold forward and grab our knees. If you can't quite reach your knees, if your back is too tight and doesn't allow you to reach back, reach forward with your hands and grab onto your toes, and you can just go as far as your body will allow you to go. Yoga is about feeling comfortable, and I definitely don't want you to overstretch if you're not quite flexible enough to reach the full asana. Asana in yoga is pose. So we'll go ahead and again we'll hold each pose for about 5 breaths, just so that I don't repeat it every time. If you are comfortable with holding your feet, you can go ahead and tuck your head down to your knees. And sometimes if you sigh out your breath, it helps release anxiety and stress and any tension that your body might be hanging on to. And as we exhale, we'll open our body back up, coming back into a full Dandasana, rolling the shoulders back. And we'll sit nice and tall, let our back take a quick little breath. And then from there, we're gonna fold our left leg in and extend the right leg out. You wanna externally rotate it as far as you can get it to go. If it's only comfortable at an angle, that's totally fine. You can work your way all the way out to the side. And this is gonna be the seated big toe pose. So in seated big toe, we take our peace fingers, so our first finger and our middle finger and our thumb. We fold over the right leg and grab onto our big toe with our peace fingers. And we'll sit like this. If you're a little bit too comfortable in this pose, you can always, what I like to call it is rainbow the left arm over, grabbing onto the toe, and then drop the right arm next to the leg. And then you don't have to fold into your knee or into your leg. That's just what I'm comfortable doing. If this is all that's comfortable for you, then please only do this. And if you need to put a bend, give your knee a little bit of a bend, please do that. I don't want you to injure yourself or overstretch. On an exhale, as always, we'll slowly bring our hand back to center, slowly rolling back up. Our head should be the last to come back up, and then we'll switch sides. So we'll fold that right leg in, and I'm gonna adjust myself and stretch the left leg out, externally rotate it so that it is at the side of your hip, or wherever you're most comfortable. If you need to sit your leg again at an angle, you can slowly work your way to a full external rotation. And again, we'll take our peace fingers and latch them onto the big toe. thus creating the big toe pose. Folding the knee if necessary. And then you can slowly fold into your leg as you feel the comfortability and the tightness release in your leg and in your low back. And then rainbow the right arm over if you want to feel a deeper stretch in your side and your low back. Within these poses, we'll take, again, a total of 5 breaths. So one more breath here, and then one big deep exhale, folding our body and slowly raising back up. We'll take that left leg and we'll fold it underneath. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do next, sitting with my legs forward, and then I'll turn to the side. So we're gonna come into child's pose, and you can either sit with your legs in hero pose like I do, or you can have a slight, you can sit on top of your calves. That's the word I'm looking for. You can sit on top of your calves with your thighs, fold your legs on top of each other, and then gently lay on your legs with your torso, dropping your forehead to the ground and extending your arms out. So from the side, that looks like this. Now I'm a little bit more flexible, so I like to extend my legs out just a little bit so that they're at the side of my body, and I open up my hips with this stretch. If you're feeling comfortable enough, you may do so too. And then go ahead and drop your forehead to the ground and relax in this pose. You should feel a stretch in your hips and your shoulders and in your back. We'll slowly come back up on our last exhale. I managed to get my hair in my mouth. We'll go ahead and sit up on our knees just for a second, and then we'll come up into a tabletop position. So tabletop, you want your shoulders and your wrists to be aligned and your knees and your hips to be aligned. We'll sit in tabletop, and then I like to explain cat-cow, which is what we're going to be doing as you open your heart on an inhale. So inhale into cow, where you roll your shoulders back, pushing into the ground, raising your head, gazing slightly upwards. Heart and your neck are open. And we'll take a breath here. The back rounds down into the ground, so you have a natural arch in your spine and your low back, and you should feel, that's where you should feel the natural, or the arch in your back when you come into cow. So inhale into cow, breathe here for a moment, and then exhale, you close yourself off, rounding your back upwards, pushing the ground away from you and dropping your head, letting your head hang. Sit here for a moment, and we'll do one more cat-cow. So on an inhale, feel the flow within your body and come back into a cat. And take a breath here, full inhale, exhale, and then when we come back on an exhale, we'll round, closing ourselves off, pushing into the ground. And take a full breath here. And then we'll come back into Sukhasana. That is the stretch sequence that I have for you today. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed it. And please subscribe to my channel to see more. Thank you so much.